only game show that's 3 dimensions away from Gotham Knights being a great game. I'm your host 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Gotham Knights, released in 2022. Gotham Knights is a video game that is developed by WB Games Montreal, who developed the awesome Batman Arkham Origins. This time around, the game is basically a Bat Family game rather than focusing on Batman, and this time around is a reboot of said Arkham series in a way, where it focuses more like it has nothing to do with the Arkham series in a way, and this is more of like their own interpretation of Batman. Which I will say, when this game was coming out, I was really excited. I know a lot of people were dogging on this game before it came out, saying, "Oh, it's 30 FPS and all this stuff." I understand, yeah. The game, I was like, I didn't care about 30 FPS. I'm like, come on, most games from like the Xbox 360 and PS4 had 30 FPS. It didn't really bother me. Although the only thing that bothered me was that I wanted to play as Batman, in this new world, because we haven't been introduced to this Batman and he's just dying. And a lot of people have said over the years, since this game came out last year, that I said over the years that people that this game should have been a sequel to Arkham Knight rather than its own self. The story is not bad, I must say. And I do like that they focus on the Court of Owls. In fact, I bought a Court of Owls, book from Scott, from Scott Snyder, I think his name is. That that has a Court of Owl mask and everything, and I was really excited. I've been looking forward to this game. I pre-ordered the game, and I was really excited for the game. Then I played the game, and I really enjoyed the game, the main story for the game. And then I kind of got bored afterwards, because there really is no Riddler trophies and stuff. It's mostly just loot catches, where basically you're just going around picking up loot, and it's for different costumes maybe that you get to have to transmogs, where basically you get the costume and then you got to craft the costume, and so it's more or less a hassle rather than a reward. And I was just I felt I don't care. And the costumes not even that great. It's not like they had movie costumes. Oh, this is because you get to play as Batman, not Batman, but you get to play as Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood. Red Hood's been my main. I love Red Hood. Robin, I really like Robin, but I felt like Red Hood has been my main the whole time, because I just went in there he's the muscle. I just went in there with just guns blazing. And he uses rubber bullets. So I just go in there, rubber bullets, guns blazing. You can choose any character you want of the 4 Bat family. I tried playing with Batgirl, but I felt like I had more fun as Red Hood. Red Hood just got me through it quicker versus Batgirl. I tried Nightwing. Nightwing I just didn't care for, or Robin. Nightwing I think is probably just the one character I didn't care for in the game. I did like Red Hood though. I thought Red Hood was fun. Batgirl I thought was my second favorite character, because I love Batgirl. But I just felt in the game though, I just felt if you really want to have the advantage, you should probably go with Red Hood. And I guess you kind of level up your character as you progress, in a way, and as you do more side missions and stuff. And the side missions are not really side missions; they're just side content in the story of little you might be oh, hey, look, there's a Man-Bat storyline, and there's this over here with, Penguin, and stuff like that. And sometimes you have to do it before you can progress, which kind of sucked. I thought we were through that, because used to, in the games, you would just do the whole story, and then you can go back and do side missions. And you can kind of do that. There is a Clayface storyline that's kind of a side mission. And I do like the Mr. Freeze storyline in a way, because I thought that was pretty cool. But I felt when it came to the boss battles, I felt the boss battles were the hardest thing in the game. I'm sitting there playing this game, and Mr. Freeze was a pain in the ass. So was Clayface, and so was frickin' Bruce Wayne, which, spoilers by the way, Bruce Wayne dies in the game. And then of course at the end they resurrect him to the Lazarus pit, and you have to fight Bruce Wayne, and that is one of the most excruciating, painful things I've ever played. And I was just I hate this game, I hate this game, I hate this game, I hate this game. Because it was just it's just not even fun. And I had it on the easiest setting, I was still getting my ass beat by this dude. They made the boss battles, they're not easy. I can guarantee you that. I played this boss battle, and it took me a while to beat the boss battle. I even had to watch YouTube videos to see, is there something I'm doing wrong or something? It took me a while. And Mr. Freeze was also difficult. I will say probably the easiest boss battle for me was probably Harley Quinn or the Court of Owls. Essentially the Court of Owls have boss battles in a way, where I thought that those were pretty easy to me, but I think Clayface, Mr. Freeze, and Bruce Wayne were the 3 hardest ones. I also think that in League of Shadows, like Talia was easy boss fight, but like I thought those were like easy boss fights, but I just really felt like the game really does. The game tries so hard not to be an Arkham game that it just feels like it forgot one thing: how to be a Batman game, how to be like a Bat Family game in a way. Because basically, there is no difference between this being Batman and this being a game about the Bat Family, because it just feels like there's nothing that differentiates besides, oh hey, look, you can use like a Fortnite glider, and you could use like you could glide, and you could just do like, yeah, it feels like that's the only thing they really added mechanics. Like it's like, okay, it's Gotham City, you instead of Wayne Manor you're at a Belfry, and really there's nothing really that differentiates the two. It just feels like, okay, this game could have easily been a Batman game. And I do feel like I'm kind of glad that it's a Bat Family, because it is nice to have a different game about something besides Batman, because we've had 4 games with Batman and they're great games, but it feels like it's nice that they went and tried something. Let's not just do Batman again, okay? Because I think it would have been repetitive. Like, oh, we already have like 20 Batman games. Like, do we need another one? In a way, because let's try something different. I do like that Gotham City looks different. Like, it kind of reminds me of the Matt Reeves Batman movie. Like, it looks just like that, and I like it because and also if you pre-order the game, you can get the Bat Cycle from the motorcycle from the Batman in the game. That's a pre-order, which I did pre-order the game, and I got it, and I was really like, I do like to drive around it and just play Nirvana or something in the way. Like, I like to listen, like, yeah, it's Gotham City, I'm narrating it. Just like I like to do that sometimes. That's for fun, because I like that movie, and I was like, that is like, oh, that's really cool. I thought that was pretty fun, and I like to do that. I do think it has captured it. Although I do kind of wish it was a little brighter than Gotham, like how in Arkham Knight it looks brighter. This one's kind of dark and gray, which I do like that it's trying to differentiate the two. I do kind of wish it was bright, but that's just my little 90 little nitpick. And besides the boss battles, that really became cruciating. And also, there's nothing to do once you beat the game. Like, just go drive around beating up random criminals and trying to find some loot, maybe to build a bat suit, to build a new suit for a transmog. I mean, maybe that's it. There is heroic assault. Rather than doing, and also this kind of irked me, rather than doing like DLCs of expansions, like, oh look, we're doing like, because there was like, they left like, there's other like things they set up where you could have done a sequel to, rather than like, oh hey, Mr. Free returns, or Harley returns. Instead, it's like, okay, now we got a Starro Heroic Assault, which is basically you go to different levels to beat up goons, and in the last battle, you're basically fighting goons while Starro sits in a jar, in a way. And I'm like, does that really, you spent months developing this for nothing? Because I'm like, this is just boring, only to earn like a little color scheme. I'm like, that is not a DLC. That is more of like a little, like, almost like a cosmetic content with that you can fight through. I mean, really, that's really it. It's more of like a challenge that I would say, challenge. It's not really a DLC. It's more of a challenge they add to the game. Really, like, like, in which I just felt like they could have added something else. Like, oh, here's like, because Arkham Asylum one, you can't go into Arkham Asylum, you can't go into Blackgate Prison. You get all these cool locations. You can't really enter them once you go into the mission, and you really can't really replay the mission even. So it kind of feels like, you can do the boss battles again because they added that later as a, option. But I really kind of wish you could go and, like, explore these locations. Like, I like in the Arkham games how you could go into, like, once you beat the game, you can go into, like, Wayne Tower, and then you go back and you can go into, like, this, like, makeshift bat cave. And you could go around, like, under the ground of Gotham and, like, pick up Riddler trophies. And even in Arkham City, in Arkham Asylum, once you can go through back into the asylum, all the locations, except for, like, 1 or 2 locations you can't go through because they were story point cutaway scenes. Everything else you could go through. And I feel like that's what it's missing. It's like, there's no real replayability to this game. And I had the same issue with Spider-Man 2. It's like, your design is an expensive, well thought out world. Why can't you let us live in the world? I mean, like, you're trying to make it like this is a game, not a simulator. And I feel like, don't you really want us to have this idea of like, hey, this is a simulator? Because it's like, Arkham Knight is such a good game. Why can't we have in Gotham Knight the same idea of like, hey, look, you want to go to, like, GCPD headquarters and walk inside of it? Here it is. You want to go into Arkham Asylum? Here it is. You want to go to the courthouse location? Here it is. You want to go into this place? Here it is. Instead it's just like, Okay, yeah, you want to go in there? Well, if you play this, you got to replay the whole game over again. So just reset your game, you know. Other than that, you can't really replay the game, and it sucks because these are some great locations that we cannot explore, and it just really sucks about the game because it just feels like after you play this game, it's just going to end up in the Walmart bin for $10. You know, and I really sucks because I think this game, if it would have just tried a little harder, it could have been a really thought out game because the story is pretty solid. You know, I do have some issues with the story because I do think that them killing off Bruce Wayne for a second time was kind of stupid. I was like, really? You just brought him back just to kill him off again? That's kind of really stupid. And I'm like, you know, that I thought that was really dumb. And you know, the story, most of the story though is pretty solid. You know, I like Harley in the game. I thought Mr. Freeze was pretty good in the game, and Clayface. The Court of Owls storyline I really liked. I thought that was really done well and everything. And I do like that they kind of remind me of Batgirl because I was watching Batgirl at the time of playing the game, and it, like, you know, entering in, like, you know, the Cassandra Cain element of it and everything, you know, everything. And I thought that was, you know, or the, you know, the Canes, you know, of it and everything. I thought that idea of, like, you know, the Kate Kane's dad doing, like, the, you know, the Court of Owls thing. And I thought that kind of ideology was. I like that they kind of try to go in the different direction rather than Jim Gordon. I do like how they got statues of, like, Jim Gordon, and they have, like, a Bruce Wayne statue. And I remember when Kevin Conroy, rest in peace, I went to, like, the Bruce Wayne statue and just sat there and just paid my respects because I'm like, you know, like, I was like, because, you know, like, it kind of reminded me of, like, when Leonard Nimoy died, everybody went when Spock died. Everybody went to, like, on Star Trek Online, went to Spock's homeworld and that little statue, and they stood there and paid their respects. That's kind of what I did when Kevin died. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go over there and just pay my respects. Even though he didn't really in this game, he wasn't in this game or not involved with this game, but I just felt like, you know, that'd be the best thing to do because he was Bruce Wayne, even though he wasn't Bruce Wayne in this game. Which that kind of sucks because I understand they're trying to make it a different game, but it just feels like if they would have tried just a little bit harder, this could have been a fantastic game. Instead, it just feels like a hollowed out, empty thoughted game that felt like it. I honestly feels like it could have been. It feels more like this was supposed to be like a microtransactions game, but then they changed the line at the last minute, went and redeveloped and threw all that shit out. And it does feel like that because like you could tell this was meant to be a live service game, and then they just changed their minds after. You know, like in like early development, because they're like, we don't want to do this, you know. But you know, I'm glad they didn't because that would have made the game much worse. And so, if I had to give this game a grade score, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much.